There are sides of Shohei Ohtani that the cameras rarely capture. The side that exists beyond the home runs and the strikeouts, beyond the record contracts and the highlight reels, beyond the carefully managed press conferences and the post-game interviews. The side that his closest friends and teammates know intimately, the side that makes them shake their heads and laugh and complain, all at the same time. And it was Masataka Yoshida, one of the people who knows Ohtani best, who recently pulled back the curtain on that side in a way that stopped everyone who heard it in their tracks. "Shohei is a real handful," Yoshida said. And the moment he said it, with that particular expression on his face, somewhere between exasperation and deep, genuine affection, everyone listening understood that what was coming next was not a criticism. It was a love letter, disguised as a complaint. Masataka Yoshida and Shohei Ohtani share a bond that goes far deeper than professional baseball. According to multiple sources close to both men, their friendship stretches back through years of shared experience in Japanese baseball, through the particular pressures that come with making the leap to Major League Baseball, and through the unspoken understanding that exists between two people who have walked the same difficult road and know exactly what it costs. That kind of friendship does not require constant communication or dramatic gestures. It is the kind that simply exists, steadily and without conditions, regardless of distance or circumstance. Which is precisely why what Ohtani did for Yoshida's daughters made Yoshida laugh and complain in equal measure. Because it was so completely, unmistakably Ohtani. According to multiple inside sources, the story began quietly, the way most of Ohtani's most meaningful gestures tend to begin. There was no announcement. There was no carefully planned reveal. There was simply a delivery, or more accurately, according to those with direct knowledge of the situation, several deliveries. Because when Shohei Ohtani decides to give a gift, he does not approach the matter the way most people do. He does not think in terms of what is appropriate or what is expected or what fits neatly within the boundaries of what a normal person would consider a reasonable present. He thinks, according to those who know him well, entirely in terms of what will make the recipient happy. And then he acts on that thought without hesitation and, apparently, without any significant consideration of scale. According to multiple sources, when the gifts that Ohtani had sent for Yoshida's daughters arrived, the sheer size of what had been delivered was the first thing that registered. It has been reported that Yoshida's initial reaction upon seeing what Ohtani had chosen was not the calm, appreciative nod of a man who had been expecting something thoughtful. It was something considerably more expressive than that. According to those present, Yoshida stood looking at what had arrived and could only say, with the particular tone of a man who is simultaneously grateful and completely overwhelmed, "Shohei is a real handful." The gifts themselves, according to multiple sources familiar with the situation, were chosen with the kind of specific and careful attention that reveals how closely Ohtani pays attention to the people he cares about. This was not a situation of someone sending generic presents selected by an assistant or chosen quickly out of obligation. According to those with knowledge of what was sent, Ohtani had taken genuine time to consider what Yoshida's daughters would love. What would make their eyes go wide? What would be remembered not just for a day or a week, but for a very long time? And according to multiple sources, he succeeded entirely. It has been reported that when Yoshida's daughters first encountered the gifts that Ohtani had sent, their reaction was everything that Ohtani could have hoped for and everything that Yoshida could not have fully prepared himself for. According to those present, the girls were overwhelmed in the best possible way, the kind of overwhelmed that children become when something exceeds every expectation they had and then doubles it without warning. But it was the reunion itself, the moment when Yoshida's daughters came face to face with Ohtani, that became the story everyone who witnessed it could not stop talking about. According to multiple sources with direct knowledge of what occurred, the reunion was not a formal or planned affair. It was the kind of moment that happens organically when the right people are in the same place at the same time and the warmth between them simply takes over. According to those present, the moment Yoshida's daughters saw Ohtani, everything else in the room became irrelevant. According to eyewitnesses, the girls moved toward him with the particular fearless energy that children have when they are completely comfortable with someone, when they do not see a famous athlete or a public figure but simply a person they know and trust and are genuinely happy to see. And according to multiple sources present at the reunion, Ohtani's response was immediate and completely natural. There was no stiffness, no performance, no awareness of being watched. According to those who were there, Ohtani greeted Yoshida's daughters with the kind of warmth and ease that spoke to a relationship built over genuine time and genuine affection. He was, according to eyewitnesses, completely himself, which is to say, according to those who know him best, he was patient and attentive and quietly delighted in a way that he rarely allows the outside world to see. According to multiple sources, Yoshida watched the reunion from nearby with an expression that those present described as difficult to put into words. Because it contained several things simultaneously. There was the pride of a father watching his daughters be treated with kindness and genuine care by someone he deeply respects. There was the particular warmth that comes from seeing a friendship expressed not through words but through action, through the specific effort that Ohtani had made, through the size of the gifts and the genuineness of the greeting and the complete naturalness of the moment. And underneath all of it, according to those who were watching Yoshida carefully, there was the quiet and contented exasperation of a man who had known for a long time that his friend was a real handful, and who would not change a single thing about it. It has been reported that Yoshida, watching his daughters with Ohtani, shook his head slowly at one point and said something quietly to those standing near him. According to multiple sources present, what he said was simple. He said that this was exactly who Shohei was. And that no matter how many times it caught him off guard, it always caught him off guard in exactly the same way. Those who have observed Ohtani closely over the years will recognize the pattern immediately. Because this is not the first time that stories of this nature have emerged from the people closest to him. The portrait that accumulates across all of these accounts, the oversized gifts, the careful attention to what the people he cares about actually love, the complete naturalness with children, the quiet and unperformed warmth, is entirely consistent. It is the portrait of a man who, despite operating at the absolute highest level of one of the world's most demanding professional sports, has managed to remain genuinely and straightforwardly kind in the spaces that exist between the games. According to multiple sources within the Dodgers organization, this quality in Ohtani is something that his teammates are aware of and speak about privately with considerable affection. The public version of Ohtani, the historic athlete, the two-way superstar, the man who rewrote what baseball thought was possible, is real and extraordinary. But according to those who share a clubhouse with him, it is the private version that earns the deepest respect. The version that remembers details. The version that notices when someone needs something. The version that sends gifts that are, according to Masataka Yoshida, a real handful. For Yoshida's daughters, according to multiple sources, the reunion with Ohtani was something they spoke about long after it was over. It has been reported that in the days following the meeting, the girls continued to reference moments from the reunion, specific things Ohtani had said or done, specific ways he had made them feel seen and valued and genuinely important. According to those familiar with the situation, the impact of the reunion on the girls went far beyond the gifts themselves, substantial as those were. What stayed with them, according to those close to the Yoshida family, was the feeling of being in the presence of someone who was fully present. Someone who was not distracted or distant or managing 100 other things in his head. Someone who was simply there, with them, in that moment, entirely. That quality, the ability to be fully present with people, to make them feel that they matter above whatever else is happening, is, according to those who know Ohtani well, one of the things that defines him most clearly as a person. And it is, arguably, one of the things that makes moments like the reunion with Yoshida's daughters not just heartwarming stories to share, but genuine windows into who Shohei Ohtani actually is when the cameras stop rolling and the games are over. Masataka Yoshida, for his part, has not stopped complaining. According to multiple sources close to both men, Yoshida continues to shake his head at the scale of what Ohtani sent. He continues to use that phrase, a real handful, with the particular tone that contains absolutely no request for things to be any different. Because Yoshida knows, better than almost anyone, that this is simply who his friend is. That the oversized gifts and the overwhelming generosity and the quiet, genuine warmth toward the people he loves are not separate parts of Ohtani. They are all the same part. The same part that makes him impossible to fully prepare for. The same part that makes Yoshida shake his head and laugh. The same part that made two little girls feel, for a few hours on an ordinary day, like the most important people in the world. And that, in the end, is the story that Masataka Yoshida's complaint tells, not the story of a friend who does too much, but the story of a man who simply does not know how to do anything halfway. Not on the field. And clearly, not off it either. Thank you for watching. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Stories like this one deserve to be felt. And if you want more stories that go beyond the game, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss a single one.